All right. Hello. My current predicament is going to be quite short. Well, I don't know if it's short, but more simple in nature. I've had the Razer Huntsman V3 Pro TKL for a couple months now. I'm unsure of how long I've had it. Had it around since it released, and it was a tech review through Best Buy, which I was able to fully test the keyboard. I've constantly been using it. It's been my main keyboard for quite a while now. I really enjoy the analog features. Everything that comes with the keyboard works basically as intended, but there are a few bugs that I did want to bring up to, I don't know, the forums, see if either anyone has solutions for them or if anyone has similar issues to it. Currently, the keyboard is in a perfectly working order. It types perfectly fine. There's no issues with anything. It does everything you'd expect a keyboard to do. However, there are a few things that I would like to get into. First of all, if you would notice this little white symbol right here, this is the current profile that you're in, and pressing the FN key, if you own this keyboard, you would know it brings up the function menu. You're able to select anything that has a function, and you're able to use any of these keys over here to automatically swap to a different thing. So, for example, I have the factory default, regular gaming for what I use on a daily basis, and then rhythm games. When I play rhythm games, I like using ASKNL specifically, and I have different actuations for everything. Then the other two are just default. I don't technically use them, but this is the same for anyone who has any profiles. You're able to change between them with a click of a button, and that works perfectly fine during Synapse. And you can see this light, it was advertised in the box to change to whatever color is currently on the monitor. So since it says for onboard profiles, regular gaming is in red, that symbol should be in red. It is not. And it is the same thing with all of these. If I press FN and then I press the second one, it goes blue. The entire keyboard you see goes blue, and it goes into the rhythm gaming. And then it goes yellow for racing, and light blue for high sensitivity. So you can see that it is going through those profiles and showing the colors the way it's supposed to be. The issue is that light isn't changing, so that's one of the things. And that leads into my second complaint. When I change profiles, I'll show you right now, I'm going to shut down Razer Synapse. I'm going to exit all apps. And the moment I do so, my keyboard immediately is no longer in any mode. You can see it shifting colors, which is not set up the way it is supposed to. And now, swapping colors changes that little light to the specific color. So that is now yellow, light blue, blue, and red, respectively, for all of the certain profiles. And then here's the factory. The onboard factory is supposed to be just whatever it is. Or I think this goes through whatever things it's currently set up for. It might go through a cycle mode, but it has all of the basic ones saved to it. My issue is it is supposed to save the ones on Synapse to the keyboard. And that is what it's been advertised to do. It was told to me that, this keyboard was supposed to save your profiles. And I even have the little pamphlet here, which shows it right here. Yeah, here's the pamphlet that came with the keyboard. It has right here, I'll read it off. Switch between each profiles of the Huntsman V3 Pro using hotkeys. And then it has a factory default that cannot be adjusted, which is fine. And it has other profiles to access actuation point and rapid trigger adjustment. Now, these ones are not specifically said to be locked to this when the Synapse program is not open. Now, if it said you have to be using Synapse to be able to customize them and keep them customized, that would be one thing. But the way it is designed and shown to me leads me to believe that this keyboard is supposed to have profiles that you can change, and you can through Synapse. If I open Synapse again, it's going to take a bit to connect to the keyboard. That's a whole nother issue. It takes a bit to register your products. As you can see, it's not picking up automatically. It takes a little bit to do that. I'm sure that is just a Synapse thing, but keyboard is clearly plugged in to my computer. I haven't unplugged it or done anything to it, and it was connected just a second ago. But I'll show you if I disconnect it and I reconnect it to my computer. It's just a connection issue that when you open Synapse, sometimes it doesn't load. But now it'll pick up my keyboard. And from here, it's going to take a second to load. But now it loads up my profile. This is the profile one that I've been using. And I'm able to, again, swap to rhythm games or back to my regular gaming. So the profile switching works when Synapse is open. If that is just how the keyboard is designed, that is fine. Again, that light doesn't really change. Doesn't really save anything to the keyboard. I know it's not a Bluetooth keyboard by any means, but it does connect, and I would assume there would be, on a $200 keyboard, a way to save a profile to it, which is just one of the complaints. Another thing that is very annoying that a lot of people probably don't like is each profile, you're able to set up a quick effects, which I have just a static purple, and you're able to set up an advanced effect. Now, advanced effects, I only want for rhythm games. It lights up my A, S, K, and L keys, respectively. These are the ones that I use the most for games. I have different levels for all of my other keys, so I can still see them and type and function as a keyboard without having to struggle to see, but these are more prominent keys. And you can only do that through the Chroma Studio. And I have Escape lit up as well. The issue with that is if I want to swap back to any of these other profiles, say I'm in this area and I go back to Customize. If I swap back to the first profile, it doesn't save the current lighting effect that I want it to. It is either quick effects or advanced effects, and there is no in between. You can't have one on one and one on the other. So if I wanted advanced effects, I would prefer being able to link it to rhythm games so I can at any moment say, I don't want to use rhythm games anymore. I want my entire keyboard to be lit up with the colors that I want. And that would be, again, a press of a button going into that profile. So not only does this light not change, identifying exactly what profile I'm in at all times, which would be a great indicator because I might be in the wrong profile and other users might be in the wrong profile and they might be confused as to why their keyboard isn't functioning the way they want it to. That light is supposed to be changing to what profile I'm using. And it won't let me save quick effects or anything. I can swap between the two manually, but when you're hot swapping through different games, you shouldn't have to rely on this software to have your profiles in general on your keyboard because Synapse can take up resources in the background. That's just a thing that can happen. But I also don't want to have to go in after every gaming session to manually change my effects, which might just be a Razer thing. I'm unsure, but that is definitely just something that doesn't seem right and should be a feature of this application because if it is not built in and a restriction of a built-in mode, I would understand that if this is a built-in feature where you can swap profiles, you can't change the advanced effects and basic effects whenever you want. But the issue is it's not saved to the keyboard. It is saved to a program that should be able to save whether or not you want these effects on. Again, it swaps perfectly fine. The keyboard works as intended when you click the button, but it just seems fatally flawed in those areas. And I would prefer seeing innovation either in the future or a hot fix, because I know there was a hot fix that recently came out for snap tapping and other bug fixes. And I hoped as a user that this would be addressed in that bug fix. It was not. And again, to further clarify, with regular gaming, I have regular actuation, and then for my custom, I have all rapid trigger custom changes to all my keys. I have it all set up the way I want. I just can't use my keyboard in the intended way with intended indicators and everything. And it's just been a struggle to have to deal with these little things that could be fixed. Now, I could just be nitpicking things, but that is my personal feelings on it. If anyone has any solutions or suggestions to make this user experience better, or any people who work at Razer who can directly look at this issue, that would be greatly appreciated. Thank you for your time. I know it was a little longer than originally anticipated, but I wanted to get it out there. I love this keyboard and I love everything it stands for. Love the rapid trigger and everything. And I want to continue using it, but that user experience just isn't quite there for the amount of money that a non-reviewed sample would go for, which I would respect Razer for looking into it at the very least. Thank you.